Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the NS9 pregame show. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, of course, we have Jim. We have Tyler. We are live at LECOM Park. How's everyone doing today?
We're doing great. I think Tyler might be a little chilly. I think he underdressed for this weather today. But no, outside a little bit of a chill in the air. Yeah, I'm happy to be back here.
It's a bit of a brisk day out here today. It's going to get better. The sun will come out here probably during our show, I'd imagine. But right now, yeah, I got the chills a little bit. I'm underprepared. Typical Tyler.
It's 66 and mostly cloudy. The sun is trying to peek through. There's a little bit of blue spots here and there. But yeah, I think we'll be all right here pretty soon. Yeah,
it's chilly. I wish I would have saw the weather, looked outside before we left here. I would have had some pants on, maybe a little warmer shirt. But again, hopefully game time. It's supposed to get better. It's supposed to clear up. And I just say that for everyone who's going to watch this game, because this morning it looked like it's going to pour. The rain held off. There is no rain in the forecast. But by game time, sun's supposed to be out. Hopefully another gorgeous day at that point in time, which means good baseball coming. I'm excited. This is our second day of Pirates baseball on our trip.
Yeah, Pirates take on the Braves today. They're 2-0 on the season, looking to move to 3-0 in spring. There's some ex-Pirates in the house for the Braves that we'll touch on. But the big story today, Jared Jones making his first spring start on the hill for the Pirates today. You've got Tommy Pham making his spring debut. O'Neal Cruz making his spring debut. Joey Bart also behind the plate for the first time this spring. So lots to look forward to today. Opening the lineup today is pretty close to, I think, what you can expect opening day, with a few adjustments here and there. But it's mostly all guys on the 26-man roster who are starting today.
Yeah, and it all starts with Jared Jones today. He's the guy I think we're all really here to see and who we're intrigued with. We've heard some stuff about him this offseason. We'll get into that. But like you said, the lineup looks like an actual major league lineup today. You get to see some pretty decent ball players. I'm excited, guys.
Yeah, same as well. So like you mentioned, let's start with the lineup today. Tommy Pham leads things off. He's the big acquisition this year for the outfield. Big time vet. We've had our talks and conversations about him. But yeah, his first time in action today, which puts him at left. And again, Brian Reynolds in right field, making O'Neal Cruz in center field. So you're pretty much seeing the opening day lineup as far as outfields go. So, but yeah, Tommy Pham leading things off. Leadoff spot this morning. I think this team's going to be trying to find as well. It's like who's going to be the leadoff guy, especially if there's no Spencer Horwitz.
Yeah, we'll get the camera working here too. Cody was busy talking to some people, but yeah, as far as today goes, definitely some things to look forward to. Cody, we're good now. Camera's on. We're all good to go. You're good. Yeah, thank you. Sorry for the technical difficulties there. But yeah, I think Adam Frazier starting at first base. We'll talk about that a little bit. But before we get into everything, let's first tell you about BetOnline. It's the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to the NHL and UFC, BetOnline continues to be your number one betting source. From every three-pointer to hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Yeah. So, Tyler, kicking it to you. Like you said, Adam Frazier starting at first base. Now, of course, Twitter is Twitter. We know what that is, right? That's been the uproar today. But again, Adam Frazier starting at first base today. What are our thoughts surrounding around that? What are you thinking, man?
Yeah, like you said, there's a lot of not outrage on Twitter, but maybe some concern, I think would be fair to say. It's game 3 of spring training, guys. If this is April when this is happening, maybe then we get a little bit upset. Right now, it's an opportunity to get Adam Frazier some at-bats at a position that maybe he has to play it in a pinch. I'm okay with it. It's hard to get mad about any type of lineup decision on March. I'm sorry, it's not even March yet. February 25th?
25.
Yeah, February
Wow.
25th. So, and yeah, I agree with you. Like, if it's April 25th and Adam Frazier's starting at first base, then maybe we have a problem. But we've already seen, everyone else has already gotten some time at first base. Jared Triolo's been there. You've seen Derek Hall there. So, hey, Adam Frazier's going to be on this team most likely. He's going to be a utility infielder. He's going to serve that capacity. He may need to play some innings at first base in a pinch. I wouldn't read too much into it today. Now, I think I would start maybe reading into it if it's like a pattern that we start to recognize where Frazier's starting at first base 3 or 4 times a week here in spring training. If that happens, then yeah, let's maybe start asking some questions about that. But right now, I don't care where Adam Frazier is playing on February 25th.
And that's part of it too. Like, it's February 25th. A lot of it now, you're trying to find ways to get people's bat in the lineup. I mean, everyone's got to get their turns, right? Now, Cabrera's going to be DHing today. Triolo gets his start at third base. So, I mean, how to get Adam's bat in the lineup right now, maybe playing first base, right? He's going to be a utility infielder. There might be an opportunity that he's playing first base at some point in time this year. But, like, I don't look at this as like, hey, you're in the competition for the opening day starting first baseman's role, right? The guys who have played there already, yes, right? They're in competition. This, I feel like, you know what? Hey, let's get you some at bats. Let's get you some ways to get you into the lineup. And like, hey, you might have to play first base at some point. Jim, you and I were talking a little beforehand. Tyler, bring you in on this too. It's like, is there really even a scenario where Adam Frazier is potentially looked at as a guy who's playing first base, right? With Horwitz on the IL, we know that Triolo is going to make the opening day roster almost like regardless, right? But like, what other guys can? We're talking like the Billy Cooks. You're talking about other guys. Like, is there a scenario where Adam Frazier is looked at? And I think like there really isn't either. Like, I guess the only way we can do is like if Josh Palacios makes the opening day roster and they're carrying 3 catchers, then it's like, okay, you left the Triolo and maybe Frazier's the only first base guys. But like, I don't really foresee that team doing that.
I don't think this team's carrying 3 catchers. I especially with the limited bench space that you have now with the DH. I think you're going to be looking at, Triolo is going to be on the team in some capacity. Frazier's going to be on the team in some capacity. You're going to have a backup catcher. You're going to have Kutch at DH. You're going to have probably 2 of Cook, York, Stewart, Hall, Palacios. Like, you're going to have 2 of those 5 guys on this team. And, there's a battle for those 2 spots, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't really see, to go back to the original question, I don't know if I see any instance where Adam Frazier does play first base this year. Maybe in a bind if they really get into something in extra innings possibly where you get in a pinch hitting situation. But aside from that, I don't see any reason that happens. And today's probably more of a situation where you want to get Triolo more opportunities at third base. And if you don't play it, Frazier there, you want a normal lineup, it's fine. It's not a big deal. Like Jim said earlier, if something happens where this becomes something more like a pattern in March during spring, maybe then we start to raise our eyebrows. Right now, it's a big nothing burger for me.
Yeah. So again, like, I think that's the fairest way to look at this for everyone who's a bit outraged because he's playing first base. Probably need to kind of chill on it. That's not the reason to be outraged because of the first base situation right now. But again, so I guess moving on from Adam Frazier, like we mentioned, this is Joey Bart's first game behind the plate. Also, so I want to see Joey Bart, right? He had an exceptional year last year coming from being DFA from the Giants. He was a big help for the catcher spot. So I think it's his job, obviously, to have opening day. But yeah, his first taste behind the plate, guys. He's going to be batting 4th as well.
Yeah, I mentioned it. I think it was on Starbucks we were talking, but this team needs some power, right? And Joey Bart's going to be one of those guys that they're going to be relying on for some of that power. I'm not really looking for anything from Joey Bart this spring. I think we have a good idea that he can at least handle the catcher position. He can handle the pitching staff. His hitting and offensive statistics during spring training mean nothing to me. It's really more just a matter of him making sure that he's getting his work, getting everything in before opening day. Because he's the number 1 catcher right now until someone dethrones him. I mean, that's essentially what needs to happen in order for him to lose that spot. So, yeah, right now, just get through spring healthy. That's the thing with catchers. We saw some catcher injuries kind of in the past. Just get through spring healthy so that you're there for opening day. Because, again, Pirates are going to need to rely on that bat.
Isn't it crazy that we're sitting here on February 25th talking about Joey Bart like he really doesn't need to show us anything in spring? And we're talking about a guy that didn't even spend a full year with the Pirates last year. That's how impressive he was. And it's fully earned that we're not really expecting, or we don't want to, we don't need to see
There's nothing
too
that
much.
there's nothing that we need to see out of him. Yeah, like he's a veteran at this point, and
we're pretty comfortable with him right now.
Yeah, I am comfortable with Joey Bart as our opening day catcher.
That's a testament to him and the season that he had last year.
Right.
Also, big fan of Joey Bart because he threw me a ball yesterday.
2 days ago. We did forget to mention that.
Yeah, he threw me a ball. So shout out Joey Bart.
Yeah, you thought you were a little kid.
That's exactly what it was.
Here you go, kid.
He saw me and was like, hey.
But yeah, so again, I go back to the lineup here. And again, we're going to see O'Neal Cruz at center. Now, guys, we can confirm the Michael A. Taylor glove is gone.
No, I think the Michael A. Taylor glove's still being used in the game.
Oh,
but I did see O'Neal Cruz wearing his own glove earlier, and it looks like he's breaking it in. But I would not expect to see that glove in the game today. It looked like it was still a little. I guess what's the word for that?
Stiff.
Yeah, it was still a little stiff. Yeah.
Words elude you.
But yeah, I am interested to see O'Neal Cruz. We do have a pretty breezy day. We get to see him in center field, see what kind of work he had in the offseason out there. I am excited to see him in center field. Another thing, though, you probably don't put a ton of stock into it. The ball will fly around a good bit if it gets up there. You're more looking at the routes he takes to baseballs. Is he able to cut things off in the gap? Things like that. If he doesn't take a perfect route to every fly ball, it might just get caught up there. We see guys with a lot more experience, and that happen.
No, that's a very good point, because that is something we're going to be looking into this spring, is how O'Neal Cruz adapts to center. But again, we also know the challenges that spring training in Bradenton give for outfielders. So yeah, it's not the best place to just learn, but hey, you're going to learn some crazy routes and whatnot. But again, yeah, his first time you're seeing him in center field this spring. So that's definitely something of note. And he'll be batting third in the lineup behind Reynolds.
I'm expecting an O'Neal Cruz homer today. At least one.
I like it.
At least.
I like it.
The wind's blowing out. It's the sun is starting to creep out too. But yeah, I know predictions at the end of the show, but yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it today from O'Neal Cruz.
He knew that you were going to pick O'Neal Cruz as a home run candidate, and he had to get it in right now.
Yep.
I don't know. Trill's back in the lineup again.
I had to sneak it in.
One time I'll be correct.
Yeah. Let's talk about Jared Jones.
Yes.
I mean, Jared Jones last spring took the world by storm. I mean, he was a top 100 pitching prospect coming into the season, right? Like he was PPI eligible and all that. But you saw him in the spring. I don't think he gave up any earned runs at all. He earned that opening day start. So this is kind of where he really put his name on the map. Started off hot, ended the season not exactly probably the way he wanted to. Back now for season number 2. What are we looking for out of Jared Jones today? His first spring start.
Perfection. But no, we know he's added the 5th pitch, right? The 2-seam. And again, you're only going to get 2 innings out of him, obviously, most likely. So how much can you really gauge from that? I mean, I guess we'll see. But I guess like the pitch mix, we saw what he was last year. He dominated here last year with what he had. So, like, how does he feel throwing that 2-seamer? How's it coming along? We know that there's been times where he's hated it. He said this pitch sucks, and he wants to stop throwing it. And he talks, and they calm him down, and it's a good pitch. Keep working on it. So, I guess for me, it's just like, we know what Jared is to the degree of, like, he has some really good stuff. How's this 2-seamer coming along, and how's he feeling for it?
Yeah, I think that's what we're all interested in seeing is the new pitch from Jared Jones. You look at last year, really 75% of the time you're looking at fastball, slider. He does throw the curveball and the changeup, not at a high clip. Both of them got beat around a good bit last year. If you look at his splits, though, he doesn't really struggle against lefties like you would expect him to do as a heavy fastball slider guy. So interested to see what the 2-seamer does, how he uses that against lefties, because that's not really a pitch that you go to try to get lefties out.
I guess it just kind of depends on how you're setting the hitter up, right? But I agree. I think today, really, what I want to see from Jones, one, get through the start healthy, right? That's the main thing. But then, yeah, like what does the stuff look like? Because last year, that's what wowed you, right? Like I remember being here for his first spring appearance, and I think he hit 100. And then it was like, oh my God, like he's hitting 100 already this early in spring, and he just sort of kept that up throughout spring training. So yeah, what does the stuff look like today? What's the velo look like? Because you did see the velocity kind of go down as his starts, lengthened. How's he look on the mound today?
And I think that's another interesting point you brought up there, that we saw him hit triple digits early on last year. Is your second year at the major league level, do you learn that maybe I don't need to ramp it up that early in February? It's something that you learn along the way, that you don't have to be hitting triple digits on February 25th. Is that something that we see from Jared Jones where he starts to ramp it up slower? That'll be interesting.
No, that's a good point, because he's in a very different situation this year than he was last year. Like last year, he was coming into camp with a very slim outside shot of making the rotation. So like he was battling for a spot. This year, I think it's pretty safe to assume that Jared Jones is breaking camp with the team and he's going to be in the starting rotation. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a different approach to spring for Jared Jones as opposed to last season.
Right. No, that's a very good point, because like you said, we got excited because we saw Chandler hit 99.1 the other day, and it was like, oh my God. But Chandler's in that same situation as like Jones was last year. Like, hey, there's an outside shot, but I'm trying to break camp. Let me show you everything I have. Let me give you a reason to say, hey, opening day, Bubba Chandler, you're on this roster. Jared doesn't have to do that this year. Jared, I mean, if he's not on opening day, as you alluded to, like if he's not, there's a problem. So yeah, Jared, I think let's just get through healthy. Let's work on the other stuff. I don't need to see 100, and I'll be excited if we do. But yeah, that's a good point. We need to see 100 more in August and September than we do in February, March, and April. So again, Jared Jones getting the start today, but we do have a plethora of pitchers that are going to be throwing today. That's, again, we talk about the lineup, basically everyone on the 26-man roster. It's like the guys you expect to see on the opening day roster. Comes at pitching side, a lot of arms you're going to see as well.
Yeah, I want to start with just to kind of go through today's pitchers: Jared Jones, Thomas Harrington, David Bednar, Kyle Nicholas, Colin Holderman, Tanner Rainey, Joey Wentz, and Johan Ramirez, all supposed to pitch today. So there's some interesting names in that batch. I want to, before we talked about Harrington, let's talk about Bednar. Again, someone who we've kind of been talking about all offseason, where clearly didn't have things together last year. His worst season of his career. This year, he's got to come back, and he needs to be effective. And it starts here with a good, strong, healthy spring, something that he didn't have last year. He missed all of spring training, essentially. And who knows if that affected him during the season, but the fact that he's healthy, he's here, he looks good, he feels good. Like I said, Bednar's big name to watch all spring long, I think.
Yeah, and I think maybe it's the Hopi I'm in me here, but I think he does look healthy right now. We've seen him walking around the ballpark. He looks a little bit thinner, a little bit more in shape, and I know that's a big thing with Bednar across social media, and a lot of Pirates fans have that thought about him, but he does look like he's in great shape. You mentioned we didn't see him last year in the spring, so hopefully this is something he can build on. Another guy you really do want to see the velocity with, though, as well.
Yeah, like I guess the way I put it is I can't really gauge if someone looks healthy in a sense, right? But he looks different, and he looks as if like maybe that was a concern of his, and he lost some pounds in the offseason. So again, it seems like he's doing the things that is maybe necessary to get him in the shape that he needs to be, and hopefully if that shape helps with the back, right, health-wise, that can lead there. So again, all signs right now point to like, hey, David Bednar looks at the best shape of his life, right? And we know that talent he possesses, so if that helps. But we'll see today firsthand now how he looks on the mound.
Yeah, and again, we've been kind of saying it all off season. The stuff didn't take a step back at all last year. It was the other stuff, right? So can he maintain the stuff? Can he keep that up? But then also dial in the command, making sure he's hitting his spots. That's just going to be the key for Bednar this season.
Yeah,
I think he bounces back.
Absolutely.
Like if I'm banking on, or if I'm going to guess, hey, who out of those guys last year who took a step back, who did not meet our expectations, and there were quite a few of them last season. Bednar is the one that I'm most confident in to get back to where he was before.
I think I would be in agreement with that. And it's just based on the track record. We've seen him do it so many times for a pretty long time, be a really effective major league pitcher. So I'm with you, Jim.
So let's ask this. We know we do predictions at the end. I just want a David Bednar prediction itself. It's also a split squad. So Atlanta's not giving their best to begin with. What's your David Bednar prediction today?
Is the split squad's tomorrow? Split squad's tomorrow, I think.
The Braves have a split squad.
Split squads. Braves split
or split squad. Okay. Yeah, I just want to see him do well today. I mean,
so no prediction.
Yeah, I have no prediction. I mean,
okay.
1, 2, 3, 2 strikeouts. There's my
boom. There it is.
prediction.
I'll give him 1 strikeout, 1 ground ball, and 1 fly out.
All right, love it. Strike it out the side. Let's go, baby. But who's next, Jim?
Let's talk about Harrington.
Yes.
Thomas Harrington making his spring debut too. Someone who we've been paying a lot of attention to for the last couple of years. His name was, we were kind of throwing out fake trade talks and trade scenarios all off season, and Harrington was certainly a name that was brought up a lot of times during those talks that we had. And it wasn't because we don't like Thomas Harrington. It was because we do like Thomas Harrington. We like him quite a bit. And it's like, if you want to get something good, you've got to give up something good. And it's like, all right, who's the best guy that we have who you feel like could go? And he was probably that guy, but he's still here. You're expecting him to probably start in AAA this year. But I think Thomas Harrington is going to play a role on the major league team this year. If all things go according to plan in his development, he should be at some point. And they're going to rely on him for some quality innings. Today, again, just kind of get through healthy. I'm interested in the stuff. We got the StatCast numbers all today. So, what does it tell us about Thomas Harrington? The stuff is definitely different from Bubba Chandler. So you're not looking for the 98, 99 mile an hour fastballs from Harrington, but his fastball is good. It's 93, 94. He's got good secondary pitches. He's got really good command. So, yeah, I mean, just really getting dialed in, getting ready for AAA so that he can get off to a really good start this year, so that when he is going to be needed at some point, he's ready to go.
Yeah, I've been along the Thomas Harrington train for a very long time. And you mentioned the Jim, you're not going to see the same thing that you see out of a Bubba Chandler. Thomas Harrington's kind of the outlier with the Pirates pitching prospects. Over the last few years, it's been a lot of high upside, electric stuff types of prospects. Harrington's probably more in line of that workhorse type of guy. He's not going to be really flashy, but he's going to be productive. He should be efficient. You want him to eat some innings. I'm with you. I'm excited to see where the stuff is at right now. I want to see him use an out pitch, get guys out with contact, show the signs that he's a guy that can eat major league innings.
Yeah, I mean, this is the guy who taught Jared Jones the fastball that Jared Jones possesses, apparently, right? So, let's be that guy. Like you mentioned, Jim, we're throwing his name out there because we like him, and you anticipate that a lot of other teams like him, and that's how you're going to get that type of bat in return that the Pirates you're hoping to might need. So again, he's still here. He remains here, and I'm happy he's here. And in terms of I would like Thomas Harrington in this organization, right? I think anyone would like Thomas Harrington on their team. So we know the pitching depth, right? But we also know injuries happen, things occur, and I think Thomas Harrington is going to have a point of the season where he gets to prove himself and be on this major league roster, and it starts today. So yeah, to see Thomas Harrington today start his 2025 season, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, and I want to preface it his stuff's not bad. It's just different.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just not the flashy electric 98, 99 mile an hour stuff, but it is good stuff. And yeah, I'm looking forward to watching him pitch today. Now, a guy with electric stuff who's going to be pitching also, Kyle Nicholas. He got into the first game this spring, and it was kind of your standard Kyle Nicholas game. He was kind of throwing the ball all over the place. He was walking people, but got a strikeout, got through the inning. I think more than anything, as far as this bullpen goes, Kyle Nicholas has an incredibly high ceiling. The stuff is the best out of anybody out there in that bullpen, in my opinion. The curveball's incredible. The slider's great. Fastball's good. He's really suited well for this reliever role. When the Pirates acquired him, it was one of those deals where I don't know if this guy's going to be a starter, but the stuff is really, really good. And we're seeing how good the stuff is. Now it's just a matter of, Can he lock in that command a little bit better? He's a reliever, so it doesn't have to be elite, but you would like to see it be a little bit better than it was last year for him to just take that next step.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Nicholas is going to be a guy that you're not really going to be able to get much out of him informationally in spring training because he's really not a guy who looks the same 2 days in a row. What you want from him is to look more consistent, but we're going to find that out over time. Really, with him, he's another guy that's just stay healthy.
Yeah, I know I've been kind of harsh on him. He has great stuff, but can he command it? Can he eliminate guys on the base pass and whatnot? He walked close to 5 guys per 9, in the minors and such. And then he came up and we saw his Tyler, you and I both saw. Oh, baby. Paul Skeen's first start right in Chicago and what that led to. Now, luckily they got the win out there. But yeah, I mean, that's what Kyle Nicholas presents. He has incredible stuff. Can he hone it and become a reliable piece of this bullpen? If he can, that's another reason why this bullpen can absolutely be a really good unit. If Bednar's back, we talked about it. He's back. He's healthy. He's looking the way he is, right? There's another guy we'll talk about soon, Colin Holderman. But like Kyle Nicholas is that other third piece. If he can really hone his stuff and be a big part of this bullpen, it has all the pieces to become a nasty bullpen.
Yeah, and then on top of that, Colin Holderman, it goes hand in hand with that too. Another guy like Bednar who you were relying on last year to pitch in some really big innings. He also missed a lot of time in spring training, got off to a hot start, was being used a lot, and then went through just, one of the more brutal stretches a pitcher can possibly go through last year. Alex wrote a nice article about this yesterday about how like that week of ball from Colin Holderman like fueled him all offseason. Like it was a season killer. I mean, he going into that, he had great numbers. There were people talking about Colin Holderman being an all-star last year at one point. And then all of a sudden it just all came crumbling down.
We were.
Yeah, it just came crumbling down on 1 week, and it just derailed his entire season and how you felt about it. So he's healthy. He's built back up. You're hoping that, again, gets through spring healthy and is back to first half Colin Holderman, because this bullpen, it's got some upside, and Holderman's absolutely a part of that.
But he also last year missed some of spring with the sickness as well. So it took him a while to get built up as well. Hopefully he's another guy that, like Bednar, can get through the spring healthy, and you can hit the ground running with them on opening day.
Right. Yeah, I do want to bring this up because, again, this isn't giving him an excuse. Colin Holderman was actually a big part of the reason the Pirates collapsed, on the trade deadline and spun off the way they did. But this is also a guy up to July 22nd, 37.2 innings pitched. He had a 1.67 ERA. At the same side of the coin, different side of the coin, he was a big part of the reason that the Pirates were in this situation at the trade deadline, that they were hovering around, and maybe they can make a piece and make a run. So yeah, like this year, it's really going to come down to like what side of Colin Holderman you're going to get consistently. Again, this is why we left him coming into last year. Chapman provided him the reason that, hey, you don't have to be a setup man. You can be like the seventh guy, something else like that. Chapman added to the bullpen. But we liked Holderman coming in last year. Like, he possesses a lot of talent. And if he can put things together, he could be a big piece of this bullpen. Same thing this year. Like, yeah, that stretch of games sucked, right? It was really bad timing as well. But outside of that, he was a really, really good and effective pitcher.
No, he absolutely was. And Jim mentioned the upside we see here in the bullpen. You have Bednar, you have Holderman coming off a little shakier of years. But like DeNardo always says, you're betting on the talent here. And if the talent wins out, this team has a really good bullpen.
Yeah. Kind of moving on with the bullpen, too. Some non-roster invitees. Tanner Rainey supposed to pitch today. Johan Ramirez. We've seen plenty of Johan Ramirez in our time here. Joey Wentz, another guy who Joey Wentz is on the 40-man competing for one of those lefty spots. You got to assume Ferguson grabs one, and then that next one, is it Wentz, who can also cover some innings? Is it Meza? Is it Baraki? But Joey Wentz gets the pitch today.
Yeah, I think Joey Wentz has a bit of an uphill battle here, trying to make the opening day roster. It's probably going to be very difficult. Meza and Ferguson are probably the two options, I would assume. But he's kind of a guy.
He's a guy, and I agree with you. Like I think especially after signing Heaney, it kind of pushes him back a little bit, because then it's like, okay, well, what do you do with Oviedo? Like, is Oviedo now in play for like that long reliever spot in the bullpen that you would have thought if Wentz had a shot at something like that was it? So it's going to depend a lot on what they do with Oviedo. Do they want him to build himself up as a starter in AAA? Do they want to use him in that Luis Ortiz role from last year? Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see that shake out. There is one or two bullpen spots up for grabs, I think, here. So yeah, these are important outings for all these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It seemed like the Pirates did some things that we would have liked to see more on the offense side, but they gave 11 insurance. Right, I think that the Heaney thing, that's really why I like the Heaney signing a lot. It gives them so many options and ways they can go, not just the starting rotation, but also the bullpen. So like you said with Wentz, certainly outside looking in. Tanner Rainey was a guy I liked as a minor league depth guy. I mean, he's like Kyle Nicholas light. Like this guy throws the ball over the place, walks a lot, but like he's got some pretty good stuff there as well. Yeah, definitely some notable names here that to keep an eye out on. Not guys at inside path, but guys looking in. And again, we know you need depth. And that's one thing this team has truly found themselves to have is some, not just depth, but especially in the years past, some true quality depth also.
Yeah, we're used to the not quality depth. There is some actual quality depth here this year, especially the bullpen and among the pitching staff. Offensively, you might want to see a little bit more. But, hey, like you mentioned, we got the flexibility here with the pitchers now. We have it offensively. Now we have it in the pitching staff.
You bring up a good point there, because I think in years past, especially since Charrington came on board here as GM, the pitching staff has lacked major league quality talent.
Right.
And I think we're in a position today where if you look at this pitching staff and who's competing for jobs, that all 13 arms that are going to be out there, they're going to be major leaguers. Like I feel like everybody that, as far as the pitchers go, that this team breaks camp with, pretty much everybody in Major League Baseball will be happy to have those guys on the team. So it's a much deeper pitching staff than years past, and the eighth guy in the bullpen isn't going to be bad. Now is the 14th or 15th guy or 16th guy, right? Like those June waiver claims from the Dodgers or whatever. Maybe, but this team is quite a bit deeper than they were before, just all around in the pitching staff.
Yep. I just want to add, you jokingly say that, and it's true, but in the same sense, they've done a pretty good job adding those guys and turning them into reliable pitchers as well. So, but like the Tanner Rainey's, like that was a guy you're kind of looking like a few years past that that's probably like your seventh guy in the bullpen, and you're kind of debating on there's a reason I could see it being good, and now it's pure depth. There's guys that have been on major league rosters that are now going to be on the outside looking in. Those are guys that are kind of bounced around that you're relying on being some part of your bullpen. So, again, there's definitely some good quality depth there. Stands out. You're going to see a good bit of it today.
I mean, right now, if Tanner Rainey is your 10th or 11th bullpen option, that's a step up from years past.
Right. Also, shout out to Penn for the 5 gifted memberships. You're the real MVP as always.
Appreciate you, Penn.
Penn's a man.
What else? We saw, like I said, our first game, it was kind of boring when the starters were in. It really didn't get exciting until the reserves, hopped in. I did see Connor Griffin today taking grounders at shortstop. So I don't know if we'll see Griffin again today. We saw him at center field on Sunday. Maybe we see Griffin at short today. That would be pretty cool. We haven't seen him there yet, but he was taking grounders there earlier today.
Yeah, definitely nice to see. Like we talked about in Starbucks, how are they going to utilize them this year between center and short? Is it going to be splitting them up? It's going to be a focus on one more than the other. So today he's taking grounders. We see him at short. Hey, that's going to be one at center, one at short. So maybe starting to find out how they're going to utilize them. And again, you're going to see him for a short period of time. So as much as you can see him right now, enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see him. I don't really care where Connor Griffin plays. I'll just take watching him play. He's not going to be in camp that long, so I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take all the Connor Griffin I can get at this point. He's a fun player to watch. Super young. I'm excited just to see his first season in pro ball. So yeah, any Connor Griffin action we can get at this point, the better. Termarr Johnson also saw him warming up. So hopefully we're seeing all the top prospects we want to see come in later in today's game.
Yep. And I guess just on the other side of the coin here, the Atlanta Braves, their split squad today. So we are going to see Brian De La Cruz in the Braves lineup. So he does return. We get that. But also, hey, former friend Jake Marisnick returns to the lineup.
Yeah, we get to see our old friend Brian De La Cruz this year.
Brian De La Cruz. We also get to see Jose Devers from S9 Live last week. We were trying to we were
Jake
confused
Marisnick?
on where he was. Jake Marisnick also. Yeah, so good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, I mean Brian De La Cruz with the wind, you never know what's going to happen there.
Yeah,
Right.
very true. Yeah, Brian De La Cruz is going to be hitting in the 3-hole spot today. Jake Marisnick in the lineup as Tamar Johnson's walking by us. He might end up getting some at-bats today. Just an exciting week to see some potentially top Pirates prospects. As Miller and Jim are working on a few things right now.
Yeah. Well, anyways, with that being said, what are the things you're looking for today's game? Anything?
Just again, the
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.